Hello, welcome to another Wednesday Walkie Talkie. The weather is the exact opposite as it was this time last week, and as you'll notice, I actually got my camera with me today. If remember to bring it out with me, and got my microphone and everything this time. So, yeah, last week was a bit of a cock up all round, and then of course I forgot to reorientate my phone, so it came out in stupido vision. So yeah, last week was an example of how not to do this. So hopefully this week it'll be a little bit better in terms of like quality, in like audio, visual quality, not in terms of content, because well, always just kind of remains the same, doesn't it? Anyway, let's walk. So last week as well, I managed to call the steam machine everything. I think I did actually call it the steam machine once, but it got called the Steam Deck, which of course is something completely different, and the Steam Box, which I guess is a hybrid of an Xbox and a steam machine. But yeah, that was not too clever, but it was very hot, and it isn't today, so I'm a bit more tightly wrapped, hopefully, than I was last week. Anyway, GTA 6 is scheduled to come out later this year, and I suppose the biggest news from it was that it won't be launching with a physical disc. Rather funnily, or hilariously, if you find that kind of thing hilarious, Rockstar said the physical edition won't contain a disc, it'll contain a code, which means it's not a physical edition because there's no physical media. The fact that it's a box doesn't make it a physical edition. A physical edition is the fact that you have a disc, or back in the day, a cartridge, or if you're going further back, an audio cassette. You're old enough to remember them, but that's what a physical edition is. It most certainly isn't a code in a box, that's just the digital. That's like going and buying a digital code to buy stuff on Steam, like a Steam voucher, which I believe they're stopping now because of scammers. I actually don't see what difference that'll make, considering scammers will just use the countless other gift card options that are out there. So it just sounds to me like Steam just want to get hold of your credit card information. But that's a topic for another video. And it also means that for younger people who aren't old enough to have a credit card, they won't be able to buy things on Steam without their parents paying for it. You can't just buy a gift card for somebody. But anyway, that's a topic for another conversation. This GTA 6 thing has really annoyed me. Their excuse, and it is an excuse, is that they're doing this to avoid spoilers. If someone could explain to me how this is going to avoid spoilers, I don't know. The game is going to be available digitally at launch. No swans today. Game's gone. Yeah, how is that going to avoid spoilers? I mean, people are going to get the game at launch, immediately start live streaming the hell out of it, And what spoilers are you going to have for a Grand Theft Auto game, by the way? Steal car, drive car until car blows up, do mission, rinse and repeat. That's what Grand Theft Auto is. So exactly what? Just story spoilers, who cares? Seriously, straight up, who cares? It's an absolutely flimsy excuse, and it doesn't make any sense if you take a moment to sit down and actually think about it. It makes zero sense what they're saying. Because if they go with the view of, well, if you get the physical disc, stores will break the street date, which, by the way, here in the UK, what stores? But yeah, stores will break the release date to get it out early. Yeah. But no. You see, even with the older Grand Theft Auto games, you connect to online to Rockstar Club, is it? Plus, as we all know, games these days, even physical media games, need to be connected to the internet for a day one patch, regardless. So that makes that excuse completely null and void, because you've got because there'd be no difference between getting the game on a disc and sitting there and installing it on launch day and then waiting for the download than there would be if you were downloading it digitally. And if a store broke the release day, let's just say by a week or even by a few days, well, when you go to connect to the Rockstar servers to download the necessary patch, the servers won't be on, so you won't be able to play the game. It's that simple. So it's an absolute nonsense of an excuse they come out with. It's, again, not only are they charging more money, by the way, for this game, I think here in the UK, I think it's £80. So it's between £10 to £20 more expensive than other games. Not only have you got that, but yeah, if you buy the quote-unquote physical edition, you don't get the physical edition. So what's the point? Well, I'll tell you now, from my perspective, I'm not buying it. I'm not getting it. I'm not buying a digital-only version of a game when there should be a physical media version of it. I'm not, to be honest with you, that bothered by getting it. I don't feel any desperation to get it. First of all, I think it's Dan Houser. He's not working on this. So I'm not overly confident about the content of the game anyway. I don't expect it to have the same sort of South Park style satire that I enjoyed in the previous games. I always thought that they were very funny. How they made, they satirised current social things. That was, a reflection of the time. I enjoyed that. I don't think it's going to have that. I might be wrong. But Dan Houser was a big part of all of that. And he's not there anymore. So I'm not... I already had reservations anyway. I mean, I was prepared to give it a chance. But I had reservations. This has just made me think to myself, well, you know what? I'm not going to bother. Now, I have heard a rumour, I don't know if it's true or not, that they're going to release the physical version at a later date, so I might hold on and wait for that. But I think I think, to be honest, that's a result of the backlash, because there's been quite a strong backlash against it. So I think that's probably why. And also, what's the point in pre-ordering this game, by the way, if it's digital only? It's not going to be a stock shortage, is there? So what's it going to be, just for the usual tat? Though I think there's something else as well, that if you don't buy the special edition, you actually don't get access to some of the features of the game. Not extra content, but actually some features of the game being locked behind a paywall, which is also pretty disgusting. So some of the stuff that they're advertising as new content, new features, you have to buy the £100 edition of the game to get those things, which is completely out of order. You're already charging more, and then you want to charge more again, and you're locking features, not extra missions or levels, features behind a paywall. Every GTA game has always had something unique it brings to the table, and it would appear to me now that that stuff is being locked off. So, my desire to play this game, to get this game, to play this game, are really in the toilet. My passion to play this game is in the toilet, and I just don't envision me getting this game. Certainly not at launch. Certainly not without physical edition. But this is going to have to be something extraordinary to make me keep my interest there, to get the physical edition. It really is. I think it could be one of those occasions where it's going to be something that I get on a sale, maybe quite a ways down the line. And that's sad, really, because I've got GTA 3 at launch, and I've gotten every other GTA and Red Dead game from Rockstar, even Bully and Manhunt. They're lesser known games. I've always gotten them at launch as well, but that's not happening anymore. So, yeah, unfortunately, GTA 6, I think, for me, is probably going to be a big pass, sadly. It was, like I say, I was looking forward to it, but I wasn't overly enthused by it, because I was tempered by the fact that, it was not going to be the same guy writing the game. I think his brother's still involved, Sam, but I think Dan was, I'm not 100% sure, but I mean, he was one of the big creative forces behind GTA and Red Dead. But yeah. Yep. With regards to the Steam machine itself, Valve are doing the usual damage control. And as I said last week, I think they missed a real trick in getting units into people's homes. Valve have money. They could have taken a hit on the hardware just to get this box in people's homes, like I said last week. People getting this box and then setting up their Steam account are going to have access to this huge library of games. And that's going to bring in a lot more revenue for Valve when people are buying their games on Steam and they're not buying it on console. They're going to be getting the stuff on Steam, and I just think they've made a big mistake with that. A big mistake. So it's like the usual stuff, blaming the state of the industry, blaming like hardware expenses and stuff like that. Well, take a hit, you'll reap it back, you'll get it back. You've got to use your brains. Gabe Newell is not strapped for money. His company is not struggling. But with the way that things are going with PCs and the cost of buying PCs these days, the cost of buying consoles, period, you're going to see a crash. You're going to see a big dip in hardware. And if there's a dip in hardware, there'll be a dip in software. So I think they've missed a trick there. If they'd have come out with that at like sort of £500-600, they could have seriously put a massive dent in Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo's market strategy or business plans going forward. Because, I mean, they're saying, look, the next gen hardware is going to be really expensive. Steam could have just stole a march. It really could. But I do question the validity. I don't trust corporations' excuses for sticking the prices up on things. You know, corporations lie through their teeth all the time. You know, they justify price rises with the most nonsensical excuses and lies. So I'm not exactly trusting, shall we say, of their reasoning why hardware is going up as much. They keep blaming AI because of the data requirements, I guess the data center requirements to power it. But I think they use any excuse to stick the price of things up. And then things always go up, they never come down. So, you know, if you suddenly had an abundance in the marketplace, I doubt whether things would come down that much. They'll find another reason for keeping the prices up high. But that's just what they do. And I don't think that'll change. But yeah, like I said last week, I think they've missed a real opportunity to really put a dent in the console market and draw people over to Steam, where they make their money through software. But anyway, I kind of covered that already. So yeah, going back to GTA 6. What worries me about this is the precedent that it will start to set. Because other companies are brainless, and the people that run these companies are equally brainless, they'll follow suit. Oh, Rockstar did it. We're going to do it. Yeah, because individual thought is something that is overrated when it comes to investors and people running these corporations. It doesn't really register with them too much, I don't think. Just how idiotic it is to just keep following somebody. Like, you could lead, do something different, offer an alternative. But no. So I do suspect that this will carry on. It's sad, really. But that's just the way it goes. Got some fish. I don't know if you can see them. There's some fish. And pond skaters and God knows what else. I think they're pond skaters. Well, they're skating along the top of the pond anyway. But yeah. They'll say, well, Valve did it. They're not Valve. Rockstar did it. They did away with the physical launch. And like I say, their excuse is just nonsensical. If you sit down and think about the excuse that they've come out with just for a minute and apply a bit of common sense to it, it doesn't stack up. Because that's not the reason. The reason is they want to dictate when, where and how you play their game. They want to be able to go, right, you're not playing it today. We want more money off you. And you'll either pay it or you won't get to play it. That's the plan. That's where it's going. You see, and that they can't do that if you've got physical disc. It doesn't require an internet add-on. And it's why I hate it when people defend corporations and corporate decisions. It's so moronic when people do that. It's like they're not your friends. They're not your allies. They make something that you buy. And that's it. They're not going to do anything else. They're not going to do anything for you. They're there to make a huge amount of money, and that's it. And so long as they do that, they'll keep doing what they do. And corporations, companies, they'll keep on getting politicians in their back pocket. So there's never any kind of policy or any kind of government action that isn't in their interest, which is why you get screwed over all the time, which is what's happening. This happens time and time again. And this is just the latest example. So now they're free to remove games. And who's to say games that you own legitimately can no longer be made available for you to play because it requires an online server access, which they can arbitrarily shut off even for a single player game. There'll be nothing that you can do. So it just makes you wonder what's the point going forward of being a game of the best stuff's already been and gone. It's on the, I mean, aside from indie games, certainly in the AAA space, I think the best years have gone. I spend more time playing old games than I do playing new stuff. You know, I think that's another reason why I was sort of a little bit apathetic when it came to GTA 6. It was like, yeah, but do I really want to play it? How much time am I going to put into it? It's like the law of diminishing returns, isn't it? Maybe it's just being jaded as you get older, but like I say, I still play games. I'm playing more indie games and I'm playing older games. and I'm enjoying them a lot more. So it's not that I'm not enjoying games. I just think that when it comes to AAA stuff these days, it's just tat for the most part. It's all style over substance, and it's cynical. It feels cynical. Cash grab. Now, I could be completely wrong with GTA 6. It could be amazing. And if they do release a physical edition, I may get it. But I'm just telling you how things stand at the moment. Well, I think at the moment about it all, and it's not good. We've got many choices out there of stuff to play. There's loads of stuff to play. And so indie games are definitely an absolute treasure trove in there. You have to clear your way through some tat. But there's some real gems in there. And that stuff I end up playing a lot more than I do the big AAA games, and I think that says something. I really do. I think it says a lot. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens, I think, with the games industry in the next 10 years. You see, quite often with indie games as well, not always, but quite often, they don't require you to have an absolute super duper robo pirate ninja mega powerful super deluxe PC. You know, quite often they don't require that. There's some ducks and some swans. They don't require you to have all of that. That sky. Last week it was like blazing hot. Now it's like completely overcast. It's been raining. Which was a relief, really. It was too hot and humid last week. It's still a bit humid now, actually, but it's nowhere near as hot. And I'm sweating a little bit with the humidity, but yeah, going back to what I was saying as I do my little end bit. Down by the river. Could do with a van down by the river. I should get a little van, park it up there, and do a bit of a Matt Foley. If you know, you know. Except it's not a river, it's a lake. But hey, no. The thing is, it's like everything else. The industry is trying desperately to make as much money as it can, and as quickly as it can. And the quality of the product they're putting out there is falling short. And it's like I say, it's not that games are dead, they're not. But AAA is definitely on its arse. There's no two ways about that. You can't deny that. The evidence is there. So yeah, I think I'll round that up this week. I just think that it's a shame, really, but I'm not prepared to just submit to the fear of missing out for something that, to be perfectly honest with you, I might not be that bothered about anyway. You get the game and it, first of all, I'll need the space to install it, and I've heard rumours that the install sizes are colossal for this game, which probably means that I won't be able to install and play it without installing every other bloody game I've got, which I'm not going to do. Yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess. But that'll do for this week. Hopefully I'll be back next week with something new. And in the meantime, as this little duck goes by, I will catch you then.